Hello, hello. It's NeuroEssence here. Sorry for the terrible lighting that we have here. We're in a library in Batavia, and we have no control of the light. So we apologize that we look like we just took a vacation to a really warm weather, and we didn't. So, no. So we are here for our second We Pop Up and You Pop In. So last time that we talked, we had talked about your goals for 2020. We talked about a little bit the differences between your goals versus your 2020 establishments. What do you want? And we said, okay, goals are a better way to go. So with that said, we added emotional wellness to your toolbox, your goal list, to say, what would you like to do to accomplish emotional wellness? And then we went through various lists of ways to handle and get emotionally balanced. And one of those ways we had talked about was using oils. So today we're going to talk about oils, but before we do that, I want to check in and check with my colleague here, Jessica. How is your emotional wellness going for 2020?
Well, thank you for asking. My emotional wellness is actually going fairly well. I try very hard to keep myself even keeled. Balance has been my mantra for 2020. Mm-hmm. So I definitely use oils to do that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep it, keep going. We've got 4 kids, we got our business.
Yes.
We have lots of stuff, Mm-hmm. So it's something that I like to use throughout my day to not only smell good, but also to keep my mind kind of even keeled and not going off the deep end or wanting to get in there by a knee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. How about you? How's your year going?
My year is going good, I have to say. Very, very busy. We at NeuroEssence have been growing like crazy, so super excited about that. Also 2 kids and, working full time. It's crazy. But for me, I feel like every day I wake up with an intention to go through a gratitude list, an intention to plan out my day, plan out my week. And that really helps me to feel like I'm in control with the things that I need to do and things I need to accomplish. So I've been doing that every single day. And I also, of course, use oils on a regular basis myself. So a little regimen that I do in the morning, I do a little bit of peppermint, wild orange, and turmeric. I kind of inhale that on every single morning, kind of just get my day going before my coffee.
Awesome.
And then take my supplements, of course. But then I also, throughout the day, I use Adaptive. We're going to talk about that today. Adaptive is a great oil for anxiety and just to kind of keep you going. And I also use a blend called Intune, which has a variety of different oils that help me kind of just stay focused and ready to go for presentations like this. So so a combination of oils and doing my journaling really does help me stay on track with our crazy, crazy life. So
yeah, very good, very good.
So let's talk about oils.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite topics.
Yes.
One of my very favorite topics. So we're gonna talk a little bit about some oils that could help you kind of keep that even keel, or to set an intention for the day, or whatever it comes at you. These are tools that you can use anytime, anywhere, and have almost an immediate effect. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about a couple of things. Well, we mentioned your favorite thing is Adaptive this morning. Okay, yes. So Adaptive is a proprietary blend. It has several different essential oils in it that have all been actually clinically trialed for mood, which is really great. Some of the oils have even outperformed Prozac.
Unbelievable.
Amazing. Clinically trialed. Adaptive can be used in a system, so they actually have soft gels, but also the oil. And we'll kind of focus more on the oil today. Mm-hmm. But when you're using those oils, you always want to use them on your wrists or behind your ears or behind your neck, because when you want to affect your mood, right, you want to always breathe them in. Mm-hmm. So that's very important to remember. The Adaptive actually smells like Skittles or fruity, doesn't it? Yeah. It has an overwhelming wild orange, I think, is that top note that we smell.
I get a lot of compliments on it. People are like, what perfume are you wearing? I'm like, oh no, it's Adaptive.
I love it. And so because it has such a high content of citrus, it does actually, it raises your serotonin levels. And so that's a great thing, right? So that kind of makes us happy. Mm-hmm. And that Adaptive actually took 3 years for them to come up with the blend. So It had been trialed. It had actually been tested for a long time before it came out. So a lot of research and a lot of trials backing it, but it's been fantastic and can be used for lots of different things. We see it being used for folks that have PTSD, depression, anxiety, all different types of things. It's even good for sleep, and it helps with nightmares.
Yes.
So it's a great oil.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Adaptive has a supplement too that you can take. And what I would recommend is if you're dealing with some type of mild anxiety or mild depression, probably 1 capsule in the morning is perfectly fine. If you are more in the moderate to major category, I would say 2 capsules. 1 in the morning, 1 in like the mid-afternoon to kind of get you through the rest of the day. But yeah, so interesting that you say Prozac, right? Because Prozac, along with other antidepressants, can be used. They have, there's a place for them, absolutely, but lots of side effects, especially like Prozac. So, I've worked with patients that have been on Prozac, and they have this kind of just this flat affect, like they're not even there, a lot of people have like low sex drives on Prozac and have a lot of other kind of ailments, and they say like, is this really worth to take, right?
Yeah.
When you use an Adaptive, you don't really get any of those side effects, which is wonderful. So,
but no low sex drive with Adaptive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a numbing feeling. I think that for people that I know, they feel numb, so they're numb to their feelings, but they're numb to everything else, and that sort of defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. So be sure that any oils that you use, that they've been clinically trialed. That's super, super important. Make sure that you know what kind of oils you're using, what quality you're using. Work with people who know what they're talking about when it comes to oils, definitely. So let's talk about lavender. Love lavender.
Awesome.
Lavender's been probably the essential oil that's been studied the most. Most people know about lavender. What's awesome about lavender, now, side note, oils will set your body back to its natural kind of habitat or balance, right? So what's great about lavender is that it will actually, if you're feeling very anxious, it's going to bring you down. And if you're feeling depressed, it's going to bring you up. Okay. Now, lavender has been used for so many different other things, right? So like other oils, right? You're using it for one benefit, it's going to have 35 other health benefits. So for lavender, you might be using it for anxiety, but for some reason, if you're feeling a little bit sad or depressed that day, it's going to help you. What's also it's great for is balance. It's been shown for in clinical trials. So talking about like physical balance, right? If you diffuse all through the night, it's going to actually help you feel a little more balanced in the morning. So, but it does help you throughout the night with sleep. So lavender is wonderful. I use it a lot with, we use it with our dementia patients.
Definitely.
We use it with our patients who have chronic depression, anxiety, sleep disorders, things like that. So anybody really can use it. It's a wonderful, wonderful oil. So,
Absolutely. And it's just a fun fact. It's the first essential oil that was ever discovered.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
And for those of you who may be gentlemen, I definitely don't want to stereotype anybody, but lavender is definitely a flower. So it smells kind of flowery. So for those gentlemen who are looking for the same types of effects, you can use spikenard essential oil for the men to have the same effects as lavender. Very similar in chemical constituents, so they get similar benefits.
Spiked nard. Okay. Write that one down.
Spike nard, like a spike. Yeah.
It does sound like manly anyway.
It is manly. It smells manly too.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Another woodsy oil that's good for anxiety is cedarwood. So do you want to talk about your experience with cedarwood and your son?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So my son has ADHD, and when he was diagnosed, they wanted to put him on Adderall or Ritalin, and we really just decided that we wanted to go for something else. And cedarwood has been studied for ADD students, and it is fantastic for focus. It is a tree. Trees typically are grounding. So it kind of brings you, if you know anybody that has that particular issue, they can be all over the place. Sometimes he revs about 200 miles an hour. So the cedarwood is very grounding. It pulls him back to center. That's what I notice a lot about it. And it helps him to focus in on what he needs to focus on. Typically, we used to say things like, people say, I can't focus, or they can't focus. And it's really the opposite. It's really your inability to focus on what you need to focus on, right? So you hear the clock ticking, or you can hear somebody shuffling or whatever. And the cedarwood really just kind of helps and zones him in. And I've seen it with, I wouldn't have believed it if I wouldn't have seen it with my own eyes, but it's just tremendous. And so we'll diffuse it. He wears it, but it has, over the past 8 years, it has really saved him. And he has gone from being a wily, crazy kid to he's almost an adult now, and very mature and very calm. He's really making good decisions and focused. So really saved our world. So he's kind of my muse for the essential oil, especially my education on that. So.
I love how you're putting real coping skills in his hands, right? Tangible coping skills he can use every day when he needs it, or even to be proactive to prevent any onset of symptoms, right? And we talk about that a lot at Neuroessence is, we want to try and put real tools in individuals' toolbox, whether it be you're a practitioner that is looking for suggestions to use with one of your patients, or maybe you're a caregiver who's caring for someone and not sure what to do, or maybe even for yourself, again, your own emotional wellness goals for 2020. We want to put real, tangible coping skills or interventions, alternative therapies in your hands that you can fill that toolbox and you can use whenever you need it, or again, proactively to prevent anything. I think we talked about that in the last pop-up was, really trying to be proactive about preventing, not waiting until your emotional wellness is a disaster, right?
Absolutely.
But just proactively trying to manage it. I mean, there's going to be that time where maybe it is more difficult to manage, life is difficult to manage, and then you will kind of bring out your whole arsenal of things to do. But otherwise, it's really just trying to be proactive at trying to prevent yourself from going over the edge and keeping emotionally stable and balanced, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And doing it naturally in a way where you don't have to worry about those side effects, right? And so, and especially with children, we their brains are developing.
Yes.
And we know that those types of medications can alter that development permanently. So this is something that you can use, and I've seen it be very successful for lots of folks, and so it really saved our world with that. So cedarwood is great for focus. And also it's going to calm down that central nervous system, because it is very grounding. And kind of in line with that are Indian sandalwood and frankincense. And those also are trees. Sandalwood I love because it has santinol in that, and that is a very grounding effect. We've heard about sandalwood. Very, very musky smells, so they're very, sort of earthy, and I love that. And that's very calming to me. And then, of course, frankincense. Frankincense is kind of liquid gold in the essential oil world. Really can be used for lots of things, but fantastic for anxiety.
When you blend them together, what does it smell like?
The beach.
The beach. See, we look like we went to the beach. We didn't really go to the beach. We wish we were going to the beach. And
simulating. We're simulating the beach.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely. That's a great thing to diffuse.
Now, because it's winter and we wish that we were at the beach.
Yes. It's like pretend vitamin D.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Close your eyes. We call it guided imagery. Close your eyes.
Right.
Diffuse, breathe them in through your olfactory system, and then it will calm you down because you think that you're at the beach. So,
yes. And it's cheaper.
Yes. Very good. Absolutely. Wild orange. We love wild orange. It's probably next to lavender, one of the most oils we talk about, we educate about, we recommend, those kinds of things. Really any citrus scent, but we like wild orange the best. But citrus really does help elevate the mood. So it's going to play on those serotonin levels, right? That play a factor in depression, has a subset in anxiety. And so wild orange is actually going to elevate those serotonin levels and really help with managing mood. We use this with our dementia patients a lot, right? So depression is very prominent in dementia, and so we use this to elevate moods for our patients. It also increases appetite. So if you're trying to lose weight, maybe this is not the oil for you, but if you are working with patients who have appetite issues, wild orange is perfect for that. If you're trying to lose weight, grapefruit, right? Use grapefruit.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So you gotta know your citruses.
Yeah.
And wild orange is actually one of those clinically trialed oils that outperformed Prozac, sorry, proactive, Prozac.
Mhm.
So that, lots of testing done on wild orange, and it's a great smell. It's very invigorating. So
Mhm.
really a good thing. And just as a side note too, it's antibacterial, which is great. So if you're diffusing it, you're very happy and healthy,
Mhm. Right.
which is always good, right? You gotta be healthy and be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about how do we breathe it in. So diffusing one way, right? So you can simply just have a diffuser, right? Fill your diffuser to the line that it says for the water. Make sure you use distilled water or filtered water. Don't use your tap water because there's lots of stuff in your tap water, and you don't want that permeating your brain.
That's right.
Yeah. So just a couple of drops in your diffuser, and then away you go. So you can set it for a certain number of hours, or you can just let it go till it runs out. It will turn off when the water runs out, so no fire hazard, no worry, anything like that. So, and you were talking about the other way to wear, right, around your neck, pulse points, right? I use it as perfume, right?
Yes. And if you're going to use it topically, always, always, always want to use a carrier oil.
Mhm.
Never use an essential oil neat. Right? So you can usually use like a 2-to-1 ratio, which is good. But it protects your skin, and it's going to drive it deeper into the tissue.
Yeah.
They're very potent and they're very concentrated. And because of that, you are, you have the, you definitely want it off the top of your skin. Don't want to cause any rashes, don't want to cause any trouble that could create kind of a sensitivity issue. So carrier oil, coconut oil, vitamin E oil, jojoba oil, almond oil, whatever you like. I like coconut oil because it's not greasy and it doesn't stain.
Yeah.
But just anything to sort of protect yourself. So you want to wear it, and you want to wear it somewhere close to where you're breathing it in, because as we talked about a little bit before, you want it to get into that limbic system, cross that blood-brain barrier, and start doing its magic.
Yes, absolutely. Then there's jewelry too. Yeah, women, men, if you want to wear jewelry, diffuser jewelry, necklaces, bracelets, whatever it might be. And we invented the personal diffuser dots, right? So these are simply just little circles where there's sticky on one side, padded on the other, put a couple of drops on there, you stick it on your lapel inside. Nobody can see it. You got a personal diffuser all day long, which is great, lasts up to 6 to 8 hours. And there you go, right? So, yeah.
Super easy.
Absolutely.
And then for those of you who are a little bit more advanced or have larger areas or don't want to deal with water, there's even cold air diffusion, which is the technology actually just use the oil itself. There's no water involved. That they actually, the diffuser is capable of breaking down the particles even into smaller, sort of pieces, if you will, and then leaves no residue, which is wonderful for certain different types of areas. If you're talking about hospitals or places that, we don't want to worry about water, this is a really good option.
Right, absolutely. And in the event that, when you're trying to affect your emotional balance, right, we want it to go into your limbic system by breathing, like you mentioned. But supplements are also a possibility. Make sure you work with somebody who knows about supplements. They are really good, in terms of what their benefit could be for emotional wellness, but making sure you do work with somebody. So, so check us out, neuroessence.org. We try to do these pop-ups and pop-ins about once a month or so, but maybe more frequently. So check us out. We've got some events coming up, right? So we've got next month, we've got a couple of our workshops. We've got our seminars. So check us out, neuroessence.org. Go on our events page and sign up, and we'll see you there, right?
Absolutely.
All right, absolutely.
All right. We'll see ya.
Yes. Night.